Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the April 3rd meeting for the Heritage Commission. We're so happy that you're here today. So I see we have associate members in the audience. I see we have some new members, or new possible associate members in the audience. It's Debbie, right?
Yes.
And could you just tell us a little about yourself? We're so happy you're here.
Goodness.
I'm sorry to put you on the spot. Okay, perfect.
Oh, my name is Deborah Kaufman. My husband, Paul, he used to live here many, many years ago. He lived on Lawrence Boulevard, up the road from Nina. His parents, when he went into the military, and then later in years, we lived in Venice. I'm actually lived in the Venice, Florida area. We moved up here in 2010, and we have two children, wonderful children. One is a Marine pilot, but he retired and is now a pilot still. Our daughter's a teacher in Tallahassee. We have 7 grandchildren.
Oh, wow. Well, welcome, Debbie. We're so glad you're here. So we'll move on to the roll call. Let's see, Christine Arnold.
Here.
Deidre Murphy.
Here.
Helen Hersey is absent today. She has an appointment that she had to keep, a medical appointment, and Carrie Collins here. And at this time, we are going to stand and do our Pledge of Allegiance. Christine, you lead us off.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, next on the agenda is our March 2023 minutes, and I believe everyone had those via email. And did you all have the opportunity to review those?
I did.
Okay, and prior to the motion to accept the March 2023 minutes, I'd just like to state that with 3 members, we do have a quorum today, so we are able to vote and everything is on the record for the meeting. Would someone like to make a motion to accept the March 2023 minutes?
I make a motion to accept. I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, unanimous, none opposed. Okay, at this point in the meeting, we would like to open it up for public comment. Miss Christina, did we have any public comment cards? Okay, all right, perfect. Okay, so let's move on to old business. We have a lot to cover today, and we started a few minutes late. I'm sorry about that. So old business was the Keystone Heights Heritage Commission Directory Project. I believe we have an update from the city that possibly there was some lower cost alternative.
Yes, actually, we were able to actually use our city's website, and we could actually create an entire directory through them. And we can set it up almost like we do the business directory, to where they can actually go in and add their own pictures and their address and their Google and their email address. And what they do is they just submit the information, and then we just approve it, and it gets added to the list.
Christina, how would the individual homeowner know to go and do this?
Well, we'll have to send out some information. We'll have to give them a contact so they know how to do it.
Okay, and who would be doing that? Would it be the Heritage Commission? Is that the city?
It would be the city.
Okay, so
Just
this,
like we manage the Keystone Heights directory that's attached to our website. We'll also manage the Heritage Commission.
okay, so the city will be managing the Heritage Commission's name, address, and all that information, and they will also be the person or the entity that will be contacting the individual homeowner and then following up with them?
Yes.
And then how will the commission then access that information? So like if we wanted to host an event and we're now wanting to contact those individuals who have already uploaded their stuff, how would we access it? Do we have to have permission, or do you go to, we can go to the website, or we have to go through you?
And it's going to have its own tab, the Heritage Directory.
Okay,
And so it'll show all their contact information.
okay. And so can we extract the data, or does that have to go through the city?
No, you can extract the data. It'd be all public.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you for taking on that task.
Okay, all right, great. Well, that sounds like we've saved some money then.
Yeah,
So that was what, $200 that we were
A
gonna
month.
pay? Yeah.
or a year, yeah.
Yeah, a year, right.
Yeah.
So a lot of potential money, so that's great. So that's $200 we won't have to spend in our budget annually to do the directory that the city's saving us. Okay, next on is the Heritage Commission role and the CRA business grant process. And Ms. Deirdre, I think you were in charge of that.
Hold on one second.
No problem, take your time.
Okay, so just to give everyone kind of a background, the CRA is now the city council. So they kind of wear two hats, if you will. And the CRA meets this evening, actually at 5:30. And I will be attending, and I'm sure you will be too. But what they have done is they're putting out a grant that will be matched by city money for the improvements of the downtown core businesses. And with that, the CRA, which is the Community Redevelopment Board, they have asked the Heritage Commission to overlook the actual design and review from the guidelines of our Heritage Commission, look at each one of the applications to see if it falls within those guidelines and see if we would accept that. Now, here's our role in a nutshell. We are not an historic district, nor are we an HOA that has all this immense authority. But we respect the fact that the businesses are willing to come to us and say, okay, let's go through this and review it and see if what we have in mind for paint colors and facade improvements would be okay with the Heritage Commission. So the fact that the businesses even are welcoming this idea is stellar, in my opinion. So what Christina sent to me via email all of the applications with what they had intended to do. And when you pull up colors and things on the computer, it looks very different than when you print it out. And so I went over to Ace Hardware and picked out all of the Benjamin Moore Heritage colors, the actual tabs and swatches, and matched them with what the businesses and owners of the businesses rather wanted to do. So if we take, and I guess we'll need to go through because we need to approve them here so that they will then get passed tonight onto the CRA board for final approval. And I've broken them down. There have been 9 different businesses within the downtown. Now that will make a significant impact in the look of the community. And so I'm going to start with the Village Doctors, which is the medical center right there on the corner as you turn behind like Dunkin' Donuts. All right. So what they have done is they've put together photos of their building, what it looks like now. All of the other details of the application, we don't have to deal with. We're only dealing with design review. We don't care about their insurance. We don't care about all of the interior things, such as who owns the building and all of the property card information. We're just looking at design review. So here's their business, the front, here's the rear, okay?
So we're dealing with the back?
The backs also.
Okay.
Because the backs for a lot of these businesses have literally never been improved. And so not only is it to put it mildly, it is blight behind the front of the buildings. And with that said, there's also no lighting back there. And so a lot of the businesses want to put lighting and paint the backs of the businesses. So for this first review, they want to paint, do awnings, and landscaping. And so my first thought was awnings. There's no awnings on the Village Doctors. But if you go through and you actually read through everything, what they're talking about, the awning, is their front, which is metal. It's a roof.
The overhang.
Right. They want to paint that a heritage green. They want to paint all of the trim work in another heritage green, and then keep the front of the building in the creamy white, and then do the same with the rear. They're also planning on doing landscaping, which would be wonderful. And they've gone into the detail of what plants they'll be choosing, etc. And keep in mind that there's no heritage colors for metal roofs. So we have to go with what they're choosing, and this is a patina green. So I think it's gonna look really nice. Again, the idea is just, and here's the Benjamin Moore trim color, and this is a heritage color. Okay, so I think those would be,
I like the green.
yeah,
I think
I
it's
like the
nice.
green too. So I'm suggesting that we approve their application.
Looks good to me.
Okay. The second one is the locker room. Hi, Elise. And in keeping with that, just so that, to remind everyone, this is our second facade grant. And the first facade grant, and this is how we have really improved the city of Keystone. Because, remember Christina?
Yes.
Or Christina, sorry. Well, that looks the same.
Yeah, I can
Where is this? Oh, yeah, here we go.
Yeah, the old locker room before the porch.
Yeah, here's the old locker room before the porch. Remember, Elise? Yep. And it was blue, and it needed a little help, and now it's adorable. It just needs updating.
A lot of paint, yes.
Yeah, a lot of paint. Paint goes a long way. And so what the locker room lease is trying to do is paint, do some stucco work that needs to be repaired, some trim work, and repair cracks in the walkways and such. And the color combinations are really what they have currently. And that is the green and the creams. Christine?
Oh, that looks nice.
Yeah, doesn't it?
Is
Yeah.
that what we have
Yeah,
now?
it's what we have now. Mhm.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And it's actually gonna look great up, like another property on the downtown core will have the same color schemes, which is kind of nice, you know. So I'm suggesting that we approve this. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
It's great. I love the
Okay.
colors.
The next property is Hatch Realty, which is at 350 Lawrence, and this is the Pangborn House.
Right.
And here's what it looked like, and if you remember,
They're gonna change this.
this is what it used to look like. So,
Yeah, I remember.
yeah, it was a coffee shop.
Remember the old.
Yep, coffee coffee shop. And so what Patricia Hatch, who is the real estate agent there, broker, and also she is Hatch Realty. What they want to do is painting, some stucco work in the front and rear, trim work, repair, fencing repair, and they are using colors, again, when they print it out, you could barely see them. And on the screen, they looked worse, so what I actually did was picked up the exterior colors at Ace, and this is what she really has in mind. So she is going to be choosing this for the door, which is kind of similar to what's there now, only instead of going with the color that's on there now, she's going to be going with like a light gray, not the dark gray.
It's almost a Cape Cod.
The Cape, yeah,
That's what you've got there.
yeah, this is more blue, but yeah, it's,
A little more blue, a little more brown,
yeah.
but it's
Um,
that Cape Cod sort of.
Right, so she had this in mind. Again, it doesn't really translate very well, and it's gonna be lighter than this, more like this color, the gray. All right, and I have met with, actually Karen, who's next, Karen Nelson, and with Patricia Hatch personally, so they came to, the CRA meeting where we talked about all of this, and I have to say that everyone was not just cooperative, really reaching out to the Heritage Commission and saying, hey, if there's anything else you want, or if you'd like to come out to the location, we're open to it. So again, I think we should approve that. The next set of businesses, the nutrition retreat, so it goes from Clyde's Cafe, everyone knows that, to the
Barbershop.
barber shop. That whole strip there is owned by Karen Nelson. And Karen was nice enough to come to the meeting and sit down with us and go through all of these items, and even bring color swatches of what the awnings will look like, paint colors, like everything. So you couldn't have a more cooperative business owner, in my opinion. So we'll just go through these real quickly. On Lawrence Boulevard, 175, this would be the barber shop. They have existing lighting there. What they want to do is paint, do trim work on the door and the awning. And several of these will be kind of the same, because the same colors. Some that have an awning, but the awnings are still in really good shape, will not be replaced. The second one is the Attorney. That's at 189 South Lawrence. They want to replace some decorative lighting at the door. Add solar lighting at the rear of the building, and replace the front awning, which is like 13 years old. And add a new back door. Pressure wash the rear of the building, paint the rear of the building, and replace the door trim on the rear entrance. Add a park bench connected to the rear of the building for customers and employees. The cost of the bench will then be shared with the next business, which is Nutrition Retreat. So some things will be offset. So that's what they had in mind here, and let me show you what that color scheme is.
Be nice to have another bench. Are they replacing or is it?
They're
A new
adding,
one.
they're
Okay,
adding
good.
their own bench.
Okay.
But here's a sample of the building, paint,
Is that this one?
this one.
Okay. Yeah, I like that.
So, yeah, so it's, you can see that how different they
Right.
really are, which is why I went to Ace and picked up these color swatches. Because I mean,
Yeah,
they're very different.
I got my house colors from there, I know what you mean.
So, and then we go on to Nutrition Retreat, which will share a lot of the same colors. And they want to replace the door there, add solar lighting in the back, add a back door awning. That cost will be shared with Healthy Living. Pressure wash the rear of the building, paint the rear of the building, build up the existing grassy area with fill material between the city parking lot. So right now, if it's weeds, it's gonna have some mulch there, so that, I think that's probably what you had in mind by,
Yeah.
what did you have in mind by
Well,
existing?
Karen, do you want to come up to the podium? And it's Karen Nelson, right?
Yes,
So you're the business owner here
Yes,
we're
ma'am.
discussing, okay.
On the property, yeah.
Yes.
The building owner. The area back there has always been neglected,
Mhm.
and there is grass between Nutrition Retreat and the barber shop.
Right,
There's always, also where the sewer lines come out from the building. I wanted to do some kind of a walkway through there. One of the tenants says let's do a walkway. 90% of the customers of Healthy Living park in the back, so they don't have to walk around.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
But I went against the sidewalk because of the ground is uneven there.
Mhm.
Just has sunken in a little bit, so I was gonna bring some dirt, maybe some nice grass or some landscaping, which I didn't get to picking out landscaping, but the sidewalk, they wanted stepping stones, and I thought that would be too much of a hazard.
Like a trip hazard,
If-
yeah.
If the rain, like we had a storm a couple of weeks ago, I had a 2-foot hole right at the curb at the city parking lot. And I was panicking because David called me from Healthy Living and said, we have a sinkhole. I'm like, no, what else, But I had some wood and some sawhorses. I went in there and blocked it off, and then I called the city, and they were kind enough to come with some fill dirt. So I don't know if it's settling or what, but yeah, I want to build that up with something more of a permanent, stable solution there. And just keep it cut. It's just overgrown weeds and grass now. It's not, I don't know if I want to do mulch, maybe up against the buildings. I want to put a fence to hide the air conditioners and all that stuff.
Right,
It's just not attractive
right.
approaching. And then all the doors will have the business names on them and their address.
That'll look nice,
So, yeah, it just needs to be really cleaned up,
yeah.
the back. And then the front, 3 of the businesses in the front will get new awnings because they're old and
Right,
dry rotting. And then all the ones in the back will have new awnings
right.
for.
And you're gonna keep those consistent, or how?
In color,
Mhm.
well, Clyde's they do have back and side awnings. Those will probably remain black. They're black
Right.
now. I can, but I was gonna try to
Well, we had talked
separate
about
the
some
colors a
of these.
little bit.
Right, right.
Especially in the front. There's, I think, 3 different colors in the front. They're all very close. But the back.
It would be
I'm kinda-
nice to have a little
Yes,
differentiation,
yeah,
and it would make everything not beige on beige.
right. Well,
You
yeah,
know.
I was gonna do kind of different colors, even on the building maybe itself, to
Mm-hmm,
separate.
To
businesses,
differentiate
To
them.
bring attention to the
Mhm.
different,
right.
yeah.
Okay, that would look, I think look really.
So
good.
different awning colors, but still within the same, but complementary.
Yes.
I'm
In
assuming.
the same,
Yeah.
this colorway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
That
front
sounds
ones
great.
get more of the afternoon sun, so they
Mhm.
fade. The
Mhm.
backs will get morning sun, so they won't fade as bad.
Right. This is an example of the back.
Oh,
Yeah, you don't
Walk
really
through
see the
there.
back, yeah, it's really bad.
But when I get to, yeah, when I get to that point, I might come to you and say, what's preferable for the heritage, the city and
Right.
stuff, because I'm open.
Yeah,
I'm open. And I
well, that's
thank you for your help so far.
absolutely. So we have one last one, that's Clyde's Cafe.
Hey,
Yes.
Peter, can I?
Yes.
Just, so I'm just hearing you talking about, because of that strip and the way it looks visually. And another idea, because I think about cost and maybe some things to think about. So maybe 2 options, because we have the luxury of the strip and you're trying to do individual, so it's like Rebecca's Place jumps out from Clyde's, et cetera.
Yes.
So maybe 2 options might be, one where you have different awning colors, and it's the same building color for all of them.
Right.
Or each building is painted a different color and all the awnings are identical. So it might be cheaper to do awnings all in one color in the long run, and then a building, just to demarcate the building with those heritage colors, but a regular generic, say it's black and white, black and tan.
Yeah.
And so there's two
Yeah.
options, I think, with that kind of setup. It's just my kind of thought about it.
Right, and
And it'll still
That-
allow them to be individual.
Right.
right,
exactly.
and if you are familiar with, on the other side of 100, by where the bank is, where Ameris Bank is, at one time, they're not in the city limits. And so we really did not have any say whatsoever. Oh, here we are. So this is what it used to look like,
Yeah, I remember.
wasn't it? Like, this is atrocious.
That's where
Yeah.
Sandy's people.
Okay, and so since Capital City at that time was a different bank, you know how they come, they go, they name different names. And they came in, and that corner right there, now this owner did come to us, just like Karen is. But we really had no say because they were not in the city limits whatsoever. The bank had just gone up
You're
and had the
talking about
cupola, Ameris now. Had the cupola, it was painted blue pastel color, and I thought, well, why not just stay with that? And they went in and painted each one of these businesses, just exactly like Nina was saying, a different pastel color. And then it really tied it, it looked terrific, and each one of the businesses stood out. Because this is what, and I have to show this to Nina because she did not live here then. This is really how bad it was.
I've seen it in other towns, and it does allow them to have the individual appearance.
Yeah, so
That's pretty
each
long.
one of these,
Just painted
and then
different
what
color.
they did was they made all the doors the same color.
Oh, that's interesting, yeah.
So, or it was some
There's-
combination thereof. And so
That's
that's,
like you said, the paint's cheap, but awnings are expensive.
Yeah.
Especially when you do custom
And-
color.
and if the colors, did you
Just
find
allows
that?
the money to go further is the way I look at it.
Did you find that if you choose two different color awnings, there was a bigger expense, or was it the same?
No, they're all the same, and
Oh.
they're all the fronts. The front of the building, excuse me, was done in 2010.
Right.
The first facade grant that my sister had done. All the buildings in the front are all different colors, but there's not much paint or wall because it's all window and awnings.
Right.
Well, they are a different color now. So I have replaced two awnings. In the
And
last couple
Clyde's
of
is the
years.
black.
Yes,
Okay, but
but not in the front.
it's only on one side of
On the
Clyde's.
side,
Right,
White Nightingale side.
right,
Those were black. Replaced her awning about 2 years ago because it came down during a storm. And it already looks bad. I didn't get a new cost to replace it because I'm gonna call and say, hey, why isn't this lasting, you know?
right,
But, and then I replaced Nutrition Retreat recently because they had a more decorative awning and the sewing was coming off. It's like
right,
what the barber shop has now.
right,
It's got the decorative stuff
right.
and, which looks nice, but it's gonna be replaced to a solid color.
Right.
But, no, there'll be different colors, but similar, because I want them to stand out more.
Right,
Instead of walking down and somebody says, hey, I'm gonna build in with the, orange color, and they're all orange. or,
Right.
And the parking on 21 is so limited, that, I don't know. It's just
like you
not
said,
fun.
people are parking in the back, and that really would be an improvement to have that whole back
Or all
done.
Nightingale, and then they're walking in
Right.
and stuff. But yeah.
Well, when you get further down,
The colors don't matter, the cost.
okay,
So far to me.
well, that's good. And, I mean, I think that if you were to choose like maybe two different color awnings, and then stay within that palette
Right.
and just alternate even,
Yes,
or,
oh, yes.
I think it would look really
Oh, yeah.
nice,
Mhm.
so.
Yeah. And you mentioned something about striping or something, maybe we could do that in the back or something, yeah.
Right,
I
because
like-
that
I
is
like that.
actually very
Right.
historic to
Right.
have the stripe.
Mhm.
And years ago, there used to be, got pictures from a long time ago. That were in my sister's files, and one of the I think it was the attorney's office, or the building on the corner, there used to be a, Judy Wagner had a thrift shop or something in there.
Right, yeah.
Her corner was all striped awnings, so.
Well, if you're willing, Karen, to come to us when we get
Yes.
closer to that and say, hey, what do you think about this color in this spot and whatnot, we're very open to meeting you at location.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Is everybody?
Yeah, I think it's a great
I
opportunity
do too.
to, even with the awnings, I mean, on your strip, obviously, but even just throughout for all the businesses to create kind of like a, they don't have to be exactly the same, but kind of a cohesive look.
Yes.
So that when you drive through downtown, you know, you see both sides of the street and it all looks, you know, similar. Like you think, oh, it's, you know, a cohesive town. It just gives you that perception. So it's awesome.
Well, you want people to come through the traffic light and go, wow.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to live here.
Yeah.
And also we want them to be encouraged to walk around. That's what I like about the
Yes.
benches, because we, you know, I walk
Yes.
around there almost
Mhm.
nightly.
Yeah.
And we want people to walk and go from shop to shop. We'll leave some spots, shady spot, especially if you get the west sun on that.
Now, if we could do something with that building, like at the traffic light. that would be
No,
good.
Lord.
I think
So
that's
I
work in
The
process.
Chinese restaurant.
The old
I recommend that we
KFC.
approve her applications.
Thank you for your
I'll
time.
second
I don't
that.
think we have to vote on
I
it.
mean,
All of
we
them
do.
together?
We actually do have to vote on it.
Okay.
Individually,
all right.
what?
We have to vote on all of these applications, and then that will be given to the CRA tonight, that we, as the Heritage Commission, have approved these.
Okay.
From our perspective, then it's up to them to take on the rest of the application as a whole.
Okay. So, is that the last one?
That's the last one.
Okay. So,
There was one for the wellness center, the hometown wellness center on the other side of the street.
Oh, I didn't,
Yeah, it's on the list.
Are you talking about the dock in the box? Did we call it dock in the box? Right across the street, the little emergency center right there on the,
It's across from the bank, it's behind the pizza and ice cream shop, it's hometown health and wellness.
oh, do we have that?
the
Oh, I
pizza.
missed
It's
that
on the
one.
list. It's on your- Well, it's on the CRA agenda.
Okay. I,
do you have a copy?
do we have, you have a binder for each one, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
We could look at it right now and just,
It's on.
oh, how did I miss that one?
All right.
Yeah, this is how they have to submit a 3-ring binder with everything.
Okay,
And then
on-
it's into everything digital on a flash drive.
On the hometown health and wellness, which is 110 Lawrence, they are wanting new awnings over there, and removing the,
That's the gym, right?
this, it's not the gym,
No?
no.
Which?
110 Nightingale, okay. And the name of the business that's in there now? Hometown Health and Wellness. So this is not a part concern. Oh, this is Nightingale, okay. Okay, this is the back, okay, so this is existing parking. It's over by Pat's Karate, Midtown Cafe. It's on that little side street. Okay. Removal of the aged delaminating stucco on the front and upper wall, and install hardy board siding, which will look a lot better. Painting of exterior walls on 3 sides, new awning over the entrance door. Did you have an awning color for that?
No, I haven't selected the color yet.
Okay. But paint color will be the same as on the other side of the street?
Paint color?
Yeah, you said
Um,
it's the same beige.
Yes, probably,
Yeah,
but darker
yeah.
than that. I mean,
Okay.
not that cream, not that light color, but darker. Yeah.
Okay.
Probably, yeah.
And let's see, a projected 2-foot eave overhang to cover the electrical conduit on the roof edge.
That's not submitted in the budget, nor is
Because
the,
you're waiting on a quote.
nor is the parking asphalt, I mean, the millings in the back is, I'm not heard from the company, I don't know if they disappeared or what, but the guy came out and gave me, measured and everything, but I have tried many times to get this asphalt company.
Well, when you say the new awnings, will it
Well-
be that same colorway that you have for the others?
Yes. the
Pick one of
awnings-
those.
The awnings over the door and the two windows will be, all separate awnings.
Okay,
The roof awning I had mentioned, I don't even know if that's in here, because we wanted to cover up that electrical pipe at the top there. Let me show you on that. It would be more of a.
is it this?
Yeah, and it would go all the way back to where the pizza overhanging
Okay,
little thing is. But, I've had a contractor look at it, and wanted to, have it come out about 2 feet, just as a decorative thing. It's nothing, it's just decorative.
Mhm.
But, he has seen it, and he's given me a quote, but, it'll be another time probably. I want to get the repairs done first.
Right, priorities.
Well, again, since Karen is willing to meet with us when she gets to the place of picking what the colors are for the awnings on one side, why not have them match or at least be in the same color wheel, and
Yes.
then they would all really flow from one side of the street to the other, and your eye could, yeah, that would look great. So, I approve 110 Nightingale. I mean, I'm suggesting that we approve it. Yep.
Well, do you want to make a general motion to approve all of the applications
Yes.
that have been reviewed today?
I'd like to make a motion to approve all of the applications that have been submitted to the Heritage Commission for review, so that we can present those to the CRA board this evening.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed? Passes 3-0.
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
Is there enough money in the budget to be able to approve all of those?
Yes,
Okay.
good question. There's actually more money from what I understand.
Okay.
And we don't have enough businesses Annie, yes, Christina?
So what it is, it's not a complete match. It's 50% of what they were going to do, up to 50% or up to $5,000. So like Miss Karen has some that are not the complete 5,000.
Right.
And so if I remember my math, I believe it was like, with all 9 of them, 27,000, little over 27,000.
And how much is in the budget for all that?
Is it that number I can't pull?
I thought it was 50, I thought it was 50,000,
That's what I thought.
Yeah, I thought it was 50,000.
$50,000.
And
So
I thought,
with all 9 of them, there was potentially 45,
Right.
but it's not.
maybe a little less.
Right.
And I thought I heard someone mention at some point in time, they may extend the application window if the money isn't all used, or maybe open it back up at some point in time.
That's good.
You'd have to ask Lynn.
Okay. Okay.
And that is something that I think that we should point out this evening at the CRA meeting, that there were several applicants that mentioned to us that the window for applying and approval was a very, very short window. Just weeks. And it's a lot. I just took the piece that was important to the Heritage Commission to review as far as the design and the color scheme, but every one of those binders are literally filled with immense detail. And to put all that together in just a couple weeks, and get business quotes from all of the different trades that are required it's overwhelming when you think of it, and I would suggest
That's a good
to,
word. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Or
suggest to the CRA that the next go around, they allow a few months, really. It's, yeah, a little
Yeah.
time.
No, I think that's a good suggestion we can bring up. And before we move on to the field trip, there's probably something else we should cover in the essence of time, and that is that Miss Elise, who is the business owner of the locker room, she had applied for one of the Heritage Commission seats, but she withdrew her application. And part of that was because she is also a business owner and was applying for grants. So it really didn't have an impact in the sense that Miss Nina's term expired at the end of this month. So the application process was going to have to start over. However, just because in the amount of time between the March meeting and this meeting, as far as the city council approving her having to withdraw her application, and there also being interest among our associate members who are also other business owners and not, and there was just not a ton of clarity. Like, I don't think I fully understood that your seat was going to have to be reapplied for this city council meeting. So I'm going to advocate to the city council that they delay appointing anyone tonight, because I just think that there's been a lot of confusion associated with filling the seat. And if there's a conflict, is there a way to avoid the conflict with a waiver if the business owner signs a waiver and abstains from any sort of overview or associated with the business grant if it comes before the Heritage Commission. So and I would like to, have all that clarified and whatnot before the city appoints someone else to the commission. It's not any one person. I'm just talking about in the essence of fairness, for it to be open to everyone, for everyone to have the equal opportunity to apply, because we have the ability to have not just 5 members in the commission, but 7. So there's opportunity for everyone. But I just feel like that I didn't know until this morning, a lot of the information. So if I didn't know as co-chair, I'm sure that, a lot of other people didn't know as well. So my advocacy for the council is going to be that they delay in appointing someone tonight, that they open the application backups, and that we get the information out to all our members, our associate members, including who show up at meetings and, who maybe would like the opportunity but didn't know. And is there the possibility of a waiver if someone is a business owner that they can sign? Because personally, I don't think, and I know the law is different, and I haven't read the law or the ordinance or the statute, but I don't think you should be penalized for being a business owner in the city and wanting to be on the Heritage Commission. So if there's a way around that, hopefully we can find out from the city attorney. Yes, ma'am.
So at the end of April, we'll have 2 seats coming open.
Yes.
So seat one, which was vacated by Miss Nina, our mayor-elect, and then Miss Helen Hersey's seat is also, so that's seat 4. So
Yeah.
you actually will have 2.
I think Ms. Helen said she's staying on, and that was at a meeting.
Yeah, I've already received her application to renew,
Uh-huh.
as well as, Karen Nagel, who had applied last month and went before the city council as well. So I already have 2.
But
But
I
they
saw
didn't-
it on the agenda for tonight.
Right.
So I'm not sure why it's on the agenda for tonight if you're saying it expires the end of April. So it's like to pre-fill it, is that what you're saying?
Well, it always, because they'll end up starting in May, and so if they have to be voted in the month before.
Right, and so my point is though that, that if the concern was there was a conflict, if there's a way to avoid the conflict and for the council, the commission member, the Heritage Commission member to sign a waiver or to abstain from
I'm
the.
just letting you know that.
No, I appreciate it, I know.
I'm just letting you know that you actually will have 2 seats.
Okay,
And
okay, right.
to what Carrie is saying too, I was told this morning, right before the meeting started, that there is a memorandum that could have been signed prior to applying for the application to the Heritage Commission. And had that been done in advance, then we wouldn't be having this conversation. And so it makes sense to all of us that if, you know, that was shared with our city attorney, then why weren't we told about that? You know, it's like, it's a communication thing.
So,
I didn't know that. I'm sorry to have stirred up so much controversy. But I'll tell you, I decided to, you know, want to be on the Heritage Commission just by seeing the little sign out front. And I knew absolutely nothing about this grant until your open house, and you mentioned it to me. I had no idea at all, and that was like, a week before it was due, and Karen, you are right, it is not fun getting all that. Some of it, I will call it just unnecessary. And all you have to do is try to call and find a certificate of occupancy for something you moved into in '81, and no one in the county has any record of it, and also your fire inspections, which they do not do anymore, and haven't done for so long. But anyway, if I had not wanted to be on the Heritage Commission, I didn't even know about the grant at the time. What I'm saying.
Well,
So-
we're just saying, had we known, and it's really our fault because we didn't know.
right.
But had we known that there was a way to say, oh, no worries,
Right.
fill out this form first, then fill out the application, and then everything would be seamless. That's all we're saying.
Yes.
But we just weren't aware.
Yeah, and so I just wanted to kind of address it. And with the 2 seats coming open, one of them is Miss Helen, and she's voiced a desire to stay on. So really, there's 1. So, you know, with the quorum is 3, so, you know, we're still looking good on that. So I don't think delaying, you know, an additional 30 days is going to make or break, you know, the Heritage Commission as far as, you know, what we need to get done. We already know what we're doing for the next 2 months, and then the you know, the money's pretty much kaput, but till September. I mean, we're going to continue to plan, but we might address that at CRA tonight as well, you know, if that's the great opportunity to do that. Okay, so I just wanted to put that out there so we're all clear communication. I always feel like it's better when everybody's included and, you know, everyone has the information. That means we're all on the same page, we all know and understand, and it's transparency. And I always think that that's the best way to run your life and run government. So, but, you know, a lot of times there's a lot of moving parts and pieces. I understand that as well, and sometimes, you know, it's not possible. But I just want to be transparent on that issue, and we'll see how that all falls out this evening. Okay, so let's move on to our main event coming up on Thursday for this month, and it's the field trip. So Janice, so happy you're here. Janice is our liaison with the elementary school, and I sent out an email to everyone. I hope you all got it. I realized someone new today wouldn't have received it, but just detailing out where we are and how it's all going to fall out. And after the meeting, we're going to go over to the pavilion so that we can run through, do a dry run, because I know, you know, there might be some questions. We'll talk about some things. So we don't have to get in the weeds right now. We'll just do like a brief overview because we also have to talk about Mother's Day. So basically, the elementary school, there's 5 classes. My bad, not 4, 5. And they are going to show up 9 a.m. sharp. Janice, just pop in whenever you. No. When I am, you hear something that needs to be clarified, so feel free to pop in. Okay, so 9 a.m. sharp, they're going to arrive. That means we need to be down there at 8 a.m. at the latest. So, Miss Christina, I guess on Wednesday I could come by maybe and get the keys, because I don't know what time Mr. Kenny gets in and whatnot. And also, I'm curious, can they do like a blow off of the picnic tables down there maybe on Wednesday, or just, you know, to kind of get the dust off? And then I also am curious about a sound system, but I'll come to that at the end. So 9 a.m. sharp, they're gonna show up. We're gonna seat the kids, 120 capacity, so we're good on that. There's about 110, Miss Janice, right? Not including like if some kids are absent. So we'll, like, when we go down there today, we'll move the furniture, put what Miss Nina needs up at the front for a presentation, but we'll move all the furniture, so that we'll put the kids on the floor. And we'll have the chaperones either stand in the back or in the front where the doors open out to the deck. And then so between 9 and 9:30, the kids will get there, we'll get them settled and whatnot, make sure everything's set up. And then at 9:30, we've asked our mayor-elect to do an overview of a day in the life of a kid in the 1920s and anything else she'd like to include on the city of Keystone Heights. So we anticipate that'll be about, 15, 20 minutes, just depending, however long. And then at 10 o'clock, we've kind of said, well, the stations are going to start at 10. So classroom 1 is going to stay at the beach pavilion. Classroom 2 is going to go to the band shell with our Chautauqua girls. Our Chautauqua girls. Chautauqua girls. Okay.
We got phonetic spelling, we got it all.
Classroom 3 is going to go to the Geneva Jungle, which is our 5th station. Excellent idea. Classroom 4 is going to go to the Welcome Center to start for the Keystone Inn, and Classroom 5 is going to go to the Nature Park and talk about Fort 11. Mr. Seneca, one of the teachers, we've discussed it. He said, they're gonna assign the classrooms a number. They're gonna go to their different stations to begin with. Each station's gonna be 15-ish minutes. And then they're gonna go, one's gonna go to 2, 2's gonna go to 3, 3's gonna go to 4, 4's gonna go to 5, 5's gonna go to 1. We're just gonna do it that way and run them that way.
Can I say something?
Sure.
Station 4 is kind of an A and B. It's a two-step.
Mm-hmm.
So they're first going to go crossing at the crosswalk here, going over to the Welcome Center, and then they're going to the gazebo, which is where the actual inn was located and where our marker is. So they'll be going there.
Okay.
So it's a two-step,
Yes.
but they'll be on the same side of the street and right in front of the park.
And so speaking of street, we're going to use the chaperones and also Mr. Dave, who will be the main crossing guard, and probably 2 others. I have some vests for the 5K, so we're going to use them as crossing guards for the traffic with the kids as they go back and forth, back and forth. Okay, so we should finish. I put in some flux time at around 11:30ish for lunch and playtime. So lunch on the picnic tables, and the kids either bring their lunch or the cafeteria has provided it for them, a bag lunch. So 11:30 to 12:30, and then 12:30 to 1, sometime in there they're going to depart. And they have up until 1:30 as the latest they can leave. So if we get behind, it's okay. You know what I mean? We have the lag time to kind of either catch up or delay. It's all good. So around between 12:30 and 1, we will they'll depart, and we will disperse their souvenirs, which Miss Nina stenciled and whatnot. They're super cute little bags, and they have the pencil, they have the sunscreen, they have a little pie, and they have an arrowhead.
And lip gloss.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, and lip gloss.
Right.
Well, what was the white tube? Was that
It's the same. It's
it's
one
in-
on each side.
Okay, okay.
And then they will also, and maybe some of them will have, over in the Welcome Center, I noticed that there is a very cool Keystone Inn stamp, like a seal. And so I thought it would be very cute, and Christina, put together all these little pieces of paper for us that they each could, if they want, stamp. And then if they just take some crayons or a marker or something, they can actually see the stamp and it's raised. So some kids might want to do that, others could care less, but we'll let them decide. And it'll be an option, and it's a really cool toy.
No, it
I
looks
played
cool.
with it.
Okay, I like it. It looks cool. And on that note, besides Miss Christina, if Mr. Kenny, we can make sure there's trash cans available at the beach with trash bags in them, but for after lunch, the water bottles are down there, you said as well. So I know that there's going to be, a lot of trash. So
There's several trash
Okay.
cans throughout the entire.
Awesome. Okay, I just wanted to.
And they change the garbage every morning.
Okay.
They'll all be empty.
Perfect. I'm a little stickler for details, so just wanted to verify. And crossing guards, water bottles are down there. We have over 100, we have 130, I think is what we anticipated we'd need.
Oh, I have a whole bucket.
Okay, okay, perfect. So it's gonna be 90 and sunny and cloudy tomorrow, so just,
Yeah, so I don't forget to ask because they asked. I think the water bottle thing is kind of confusing. Are you having water down there for them? I told them they all carry water around most of the time anyway these days. So it's because COVID kind of started that. So are they to bring their own water, drink? I told them to plan on that.
I
but
would.
She did ask, are y'all doing water for them or is that the water bottle that you're?
yes. So we're gonna have a water bottle available for everyone,
Okay.
one per person,
Okay.
but it's gonna be 90 and sunny, so I would, should think that
So
they would
some-
wanna bring their own anyway.
Yes, they bring their own. If they don't, there'll be some in it, lunch or, okay. whatever.
Okay.
So if the cafeteria provides, there will be a drink to go with that. You would think they would, if they brought their own lunch, think of that too, but
Okay,
they did ask me to clarify that. So.
okay.
Okay.
Anything else?
Nothing, no, other than you said it's pretty self-explanatory. One goes to two goes through. We might make a little slip or something that we can't get it. To re-explain that, sometimes in the confusion of, they're teachers, you think, but I hope I'm not insulting teachers.
No, no, no. And
Sometimes the simplest thing becomes a big issue. It's like, what are we supposed to do again?
yeah,
If it's written out or it's said again, here's what you're doing, that might help.
okay.
Lessen the confusion.
I'll make a little note card
Yes,
that I can
something like
hand
that,
to the
because
teachers that day.
I worked in the front office for all the years I did. Quite often we shook our head going, really?
Okay,
We also have the heat, when we do the actual tour of homes, when
Yes.
we do a walk, we have these big signs, and they all are numbered for the
Yes.
houses.
Right,
So we're gonna kind of retrofit them
Good.
for the stations.
okay.
And Christina's gonna get that to us today, right?
I like to kind of use
Okay,
the term
so Miss
down,
Christina,
as
is-
simple as you can make it, but-
okay,
and the more times you can say it.
So we'll
All
have
right.
them numbered, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they'll know.
They should,
is there a sound system that we could use just to, a microphone, a foghorn, one of those things you hold the handle talking to, megaphone? Do we have any of that? Like something like,
I
I want
don't
an announcement.
know if we have a
First place.
megaphone. I honestly don't know if we have a megaphone.
I think if we had some sort of, and this is just, not just for Thursday, and I don't know if we could get it on Amazon, because now we have money, and we have an extra $200, right, we saved on the directory. If we can order something that's portable, that we can use, because we're gonna cover a lot of space between the picnic tables and outdoors and the nature park and the crossing and whatnot, that, if we could order something that's within our budget, just as a backup to,
I know
when the
that in the-
station's over.
I know that in the past they have walkie-talkie systems, so like Kenny and all those guys can talk to each other. If there's any way we could even have something like that, we could just talk to each other.
That would be great. We kind of joked about that, but that would be great. Yes, Miss Kathy?
I know this one's pretty cheap, but is this the idea?
Yeah, yeah.
But, would you want me to go look, there's 45 reviews, it's 4.2.
Yeah, no, if you can send me that link, text it to me, and then I can get it.
Okay, I just went and did make, there's a bunch of them.
Okay, yeah.
I did make those.
Find us a
Okay,
good
I'll
one
make- yeah,
that's
I'll-
reasonable, because we could order like 5 of them, because they're 15 each, it looks like
Okay,
14,
let me
15,
find
or
best
we could order
reviews.
4, one for each station, or you know what I mean, and at least that would keep us, the walkie-talkies would make us more like Secret Service, but, But whatever, at this point, just something that we
This
can
one's got a
use.
voice changer.
Okay, Miss
Oh.
Nina?
You can sound like a,
Can we
sergeant.
speak French?
Okay.
A suggestion, I thought about this a lot last night, and thinking about, like you said, our logistics, we're kind of really spread out. I'm inside, you got these guys out there by the band shell, across the street, separated, all that. So I thought, I've actually invited 2 other volunteers, because at least 2 or 3, young, who's in this room. And what I felt like thinking is, if we can't get that, hopefully we can get something more like sophisticated like that. But find at least 4 volunteers that are timekeepers, and they are stationed with each station, those individuals, and that is their job to manage the timing. So, for example, like you said, it starts at 10, and they know the changeover is going to be 15, 20 minutes later.
Mhm.
But they all can text each other right? They have each other's phone number.
Right,
And one person's manning it and said, okay, 5 minutes, and then it goes to all of them, and that person, for example, Myron looks at me and goes like this, looks at these guys, goes 5, meaning you got 5 minutes to be done. Because you get caught up and you're not, sometimes you
Right.
don't look at your clock. So then they know they have 5 minutes to stop, and then if a thing goes off or whatever, and I know there's an app also that will be a bullhorn that you can do through your phone.
okay.
We were looking at that the other night
Yeah.
as well.
Oh.
So I'm looking at a free app to download that we can use for that purpose. It's either, it's one of those individuals or somebody holds it up somewhere, right?
Mm-hmm,
But we are so far apart, but I think the communicating to the speaker so they know they have 5 minutes is probably even more important. Because they could they could be like a ways off from finishing, right?
so,
And they go, "Ugh," you know.
Well, and keep
Right.
in mind that when you're going from, say, the pavilion just to the
Mhm.
picnic tables or the jungle gym, it's no big deal. If you're going from the pavilion all the way over to the welcome center, that's gonna take 5 minutes to
Right.
get 25 kids over there anyway.
Yes.
And so
I think
that
you gotta
gives very
allow-
little time to get in through the welcome center and then over to the pavilion, to the inn area,
Yeah.
have them look at the marker, and then onto the Chautauqua.
mhm.
I think you almost gotta allow almost 10 minutes between sessions.
Mhm.
Because we're at 25 kids,
I know,
so many,
Yeah.
and you're gonna get them
I don't know
settled.
how much time we have.
I don't know,
yeah,
there's
we
something
have the time, but like between the beach pavilion and the band shell, I
That's-
mean,
yeah,
you know,
that's a little
and then
bit
Geneva
further.
Jungle, it's really just when you're crossing the street,
Right.
so. But when we go down afterward at the workshop, we talked about, Mary Lou, you're gonna have to give it up, about doing the big text group. So we're gonna create your cell phone number, so we're gonna create the big text group so that we can, and we'll use that as like 5 minute warning, you know what I mean, between, with texting, so we're all on the same page. So any volunteers, whoever wants to volunteer today too, we need your cell phone number. And if you're gonna be there Thursday, and we would love the volunteers, so, and Janice, if we could get the teachers too,
Yes.
if you can get us a teachers group, and then let's just do one big group, okay? Okay,
We're
so,
talking about the stations too, that reminds me, when I was saying maybe a list of it might be the easiest, because I know that there's 2 teachers here that are familiar with the area, and me, I know, we're talking about beach, I know you're talking about Welcome Center, there's 1 or 2, I know for sure 1 that's out of town, even though there should be people with her parents that know what they're talking about, it might just be as simple as have just a simple map. Here's the beach, here's the pavilion,
Okay.
here's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yep.
Instruction on the bottom of that. Yeah, but she-
I'll
and
create
that would be-
little note cards that
Yes.
we can give to them, and that we can hand out with the stations and a little map that kind of shows you 1, 2, 1, 2, and with the draft itinerary. So the great thing is, it's not gonna be perfect. I mean, with any event, as long as you expect a wedding, whatever it is, you're gonna have some snag, whatnot, along the way, then your expectation will be met. And, but that it's gonna be great. Kids don't know, nobody else knows that something's gonna go, if something goes awry or whatnot. It's gonna be great, and it's the first time we're doing it, and then you just build on it. It becomes easier and better year after year if we, you know,
And just to
continue to do
begin
it.
to share the history of the community that these kids live in, and that, or they're growing up, they're going to school, to have just some background into, how we started, and why this is such a cool place to live. So that'll be
okay.
a great opportunity.
One other
Thank
thing
you,
is,
Carrie, for putting us all together.
I mean, thank you. It takes a village. You, Deirdre, helped quite a bit as Nina and everyone. So, Christine, did you want to say something?
Yes, just one thing I wanted to bring up that I need input. Black powder weapons firing for the Fort 11. We have a little cannon and a black powder rifle, which, I mean, it doesn't have to be part of it. The kids would love it, but I understand that, I don't know how the school, we can leave it off.
They have a Civil War cannon that they would go up and shoot off every so often. So-
Oh, okay, so that's fine.
Yeah,
It just makes it.
Maybe just the cannon.
Just
not
the cannon?
Yeah, not the rifle.
Not the gun, okay.
Yeah, we're trying
It's
to
just
get
the
that out of
cannon,
things
the
right
cannon's
now.
only this big, it's just a little.
Yeah, just the cannon. Okay, on that note, 11:11, we're going to move on to Mother's Day tour.
Can
Miss
I wait?
Deirdre.
Just one last thing,
sure.
I'm sorry.
Nope,
And
go.
I'll share it with y'all over there. In my introduction, I did put together an agenda to set, so, because all of them will be sitting there at the very beginning for the, and to learn the initial in the life of the 20s before they go to my actual station. I did put on the agenda though, all the different stations and who's manning them and where they're at. So the whole room has heard that. It's
Okay.
To reinforce what you're talking about
Yeah,
doing.
that's
Just
great.
wanna add that.
Perfect.
Okay.
Okay, Miss Deirdre, Mother's Day, are you ready?
Yes, ma'am. Okay, first, kudos to Miss Christina back there for putting together an amazing, the most adorable little flyer for Mother's Day, our Tour of
Very
Homes
sweet.
event. She did a marvelous job. And basically our tour of homes is Saturdays, the day before Mother's Day, May 13th from 10 to 1 o'clock. And it's a walking tour of historic homes. We have decided that we're going to, instead of the same homes every single tour, that we're going to alternate a little bit. So all of these are going to be on the same side of the street, this side of the street. And we want to, well, here's a list, and we can kind of figure out where do we want this to stop. And we can decide. And most of the homes in this grouping, while there are a few that are in the 20s, 30s, some of them are 50s, but we still want to have this tour representing, you know, Keystone and their historic homes. And again, it's a walking tour. So they meet at the pavilion, just like previously. They'll get a Mother's Day rose up to the first 50 recipients. Clyde's, Carrie is calling Clyde's to see if they can put together their, what did they have last time, a cobbler?
I wasn't there.
That bread pudding, which is terrific, but what we learned, and again, this is gonna be similar to with the students, you know, the first time we did it, there's a learning curve. And when Clyde's brought over this amazing tray of bread pudding, we quickly realized we needed to put them in individual cups. So, to make the whole thing smoother to hand out to people. And so with that step in mind, we do need to get, you know, the cupcake holders and all those things. And then before we go on to the pavilion, which we need to get to, I just want to say that our next commission meeting is 2 weeks after the Mother's Day event. So if there's a way to move that meeting,
I think I proposed May 9th. I don't think I verbalized it, but does that work?
yes,
Does
that would be,
Does that work for you,
Yes.
Christine?
Let me take a look here.
I don't think we voted on that.
No, we didn't. As I was drafting the agenda, the thought occurred to me we needed to meet before.
So did I.
No, the ninth works.
Okay, great. I guess we need to make a motion, or no?
I don't know, I mean, I think as long as I don't know, we agreed to meet on the 9th.
We agree to meet on the 9th?
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
we're all in favor.
Aye.
Great. So we will have a meeting on May 9th at 10 a.m. here at City Hall. Is the building available, Christina? On that date?
Taking notes, what?
On that date, May 9th at 10 o'clock, would there be enough, an hour for us
I can-
using?
I can double check, I don't see why it shouldn't be.
Okay, great. And then we can finalize all the last details, but basically we'll have roses, which I'll order from Sweet Peas, and they will be in individual tubes. We'll order the bread pudding from Clyde's, and everyone will meet at the pavilion. We'll need to put together the exact homes and maybe a little something about each of the homes, and if we have a photo of them. And then we'll put together a flyer similar to what we have currently for the Lawrence home and the Bergen home and the Kagi and Mack house and all the rest. But it'll just be a completely different group of homes. And it's my understanding, Christina, that if we give you those homes and the list, you can put together the brochure for us?
Mhm.
You just switch out the houses and the addresses?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay.
And you're not gonna use the same brochures as you did last year?
No, because we're gonna have a different set of homes. We
Okay.
can still have those brochures, but this will be a new walking tour.
Okay.
And we will also need, the keys to the pavilion the Friday before.
Yes.
And we'll need all of the signs and the banner out.
Yep, I already have a
Prior
banner
to-
in my office.
Okay, and then the signs, wherever they magically are. Where are they, by the way? Are they down there off, like by the big storage facility? Is that where
They're finding them.
they're finding them? Okey-dokes. All right. Thank you.
So, hey, Deidre, so just so you know, when I was looking at the area that y'all selected and the mix of homes that are there, based on the data I have, it's around 17 homes that she was able to put into that really nice big brochure last year. So 17, Christina, I know on that brochure from last year, the 17, because I think the year before was only 10 or 12.
If they
but-
fit.
But if you can still fit, because you had that really beautiful thing you did last year, and it fits 17 houses is what I counted.
Yeah, I still have
So
that
we would just
brochure.
exchange out the house and the description. If
Okay.
17 houses in this new location.
I think that's a great idea.
That way it kind of helps you all narrow down what you want to do.
Well, I think we could actually have all 17, and here's why. One, they're very, very close to each other. So some of them are really right next door to each other. And yesterday, my daughter Haley told me that she went to a tour of homes in Tampa, and they did 14 houses inside. I'm thinking, wow, if you can do inside for 14, it was all day, she just couldn't believe it. But we can certainly have a walking tour with 17,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yeah,
So-
we had 12 last year. It was 12 last year.
Right.
when they were- Yeah, I mean, yeah, 17 last year. I'm sorry. The year before that, though, I think it was 12 on the
12,
old
then we
brochure.
added the 5 that had been plaqued.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, so we have a brochure with all 17 on them.
Okay, and then we just add
Just,
to these. Because,
we'll just pull those out and put the new ones in.
yeah,
Same template.
right, same template. And I'll go through and actually, I think you actually have them all written out, correct? Yeah. Thank you, Nina.
And a
Thanks.
map.
And a map. So we'll go through, we've been working on the student event, so we haven't really got to this, but just wanted to touch on all these points. And like I said, Carrie will be handling the food, and I'm gonna handle the roses. And Christina, if we could just make a note that we will need at least, 50 to 75 water bottles. Because a lot of the people who do attend the walking tour, they're older, and we definitely need water for them to be available. Because it's gonna be hot.
So the waters are in the cooler, are in the walk-in cooler, but, okay. Do we have coolers? Like, or
No,
we?
they're cold. and
Okay,
they
they're already
stick-
cold,
yeah, they
okay,
stick.
all right.
Yeah, they're actually in the walk.
Oh, okay, perfect.
And then one last thing, which, it was mostly Nina, I have to say. She decorated, we all helped, but she is the decorator. So, we are going to need some help, that, either the Friday, that Friday before or early, to get in there and, put tablecloths on all the tables and to make it look welcoming, so that when, all the residents of the community come through, that they feel that it's an event. And so we will also need city, if we have city brochure, anything that you can provide for us. Because again, the whole point of this is to, as the Heritage Commission, is to bring awareness of everything that we have going on in Keystone. So that's our opportunity to shine. And if whatever you can provide for us, Christina, we will take it on.
Would you want a city display table? Is that what you're wanting?
That would be nice. I mean, yeah.
Okay.
Well, that would be great for the field trip too, like even outside the pavilion, like as you walk in as the kids go by, but, I don't know if
Which-
there's time to do that.
Which, you know, you can drive into the park over there, across the street. And I had planned on setting up inside the pavilion a table with all of the stuff about the inn and pictures and all of that. I'm assuming it will be left, you know, untouched until we get over there a couple hours later. Is there anybody like Kenny who could be just, you know, hanging out in the park?
Well, and these signs, are these the big signs, they go into the ground?
Right.
Are they easy to put in?
Yes.
Okay. I just
But
wanted
we
to make
need
sure
to
we-
modify them so they don't say tour of homes. What I wanted it to say was student event. And I was just gonna, you know, do a sticky board over the top of them. Speaking of the devil.
It's like, I'm out of here. You heard your name a lot, didn't you? I know. Okay, well, while I think he wants to speak with her, let's move on to new business. And we've discussed, as Deirdre and I have been co-chair, we discussed a new chairperson picking up the role. And maybe I'm thinking after Mother's Day, so June, since Deirdre, you're probably going to be doing a lot for the May meeting. So does that work as far as we were going to look for a new chairperson for
Well, I
the
thought Chris,
remainder of the
Dina.
year?
Christine said, didn't you say you would
Okay.
be chairperson?
Well, yeah, because other than me, it's Helen, and so.
Yeah, okay,
I mean, for now, I mean,
Yeah.
until we get, you know.
yeah, okay, all
That's
right.
great.
Well, I make a motion that we nominate Miss Christine to be the new chairperson of the Heritage Commission.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I think we all are.
It's unanimous,
Been
3-0.
all wrong.
So then the May meeting, you will run the May meeting, but as we discussed, you know, I'll help with the agenda, you know, formulating that
Right.
together and whatnot, so. And if we need any forms or whatnot, we have our queen form maker here, so. Okay.
So we're keeping the two co-chairs, right?
I think it will be like silent partner.
We have to have a co-chair.
You have our utmost support. I think after Mother's Day, I think we're, you know, until the fall kicks up like September, I don't think there's a.
Hey, I've got my blue angels marker thing done. I'm happy.
Yeah.
That's off my chest. I'm like, yay.
So item B on the agenda, we're talking about the budget, and I think with the CRA meeting tonight, you and I will both be there, so we can discuss that, as far as maybe we can bring up the budget for next year.
I would, I've done some research on the walking tour apps. I have one that I really like, a mobile app, and I'll send everybody a link. I think you've done so much on the walking tour, you've already got a lot of the material, and this app allows you to build it, or you can get their assistance. But
Yeah.
it's gonna have to go into the budget.
Well, the tourism board for Clay County is putting together something like this.
Oh, are they?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So-
And so they actually are going to be working with the tourism board are working to do something like that. And I believe Nina said that when she spoke with them, they had spoken at a meeting of Rotary. So years ago, a year ago, I learned about them doing all this. But Nina just recently met with them and said that that is on their project for next year.
Oh, so next year,
So,
okay.
right, for next year.
And is it gonna be something that we can build ourselves as a city, or are they gonna be responsible for it?
So I don't know that level of detail.
Uh-huh.
She couldn't do it for this year because she said it's gonna take her about 3 months to build it
Mhm.
for us. But definitely for next year. My understanding was that anybody who's attending the tour, whenever we decide to plug it in for that year, all they do is go to that app, they download that app that the tourism committee has paid for.
Mhm.
They're gonna pay for it.
Okay.
So And then it'll have the descriptions of the house, like talk to people about the name of the house, the brief description or whatever, so they can kind of pick and choose as they go along. But the app apparently is relatively interactive, like the way it tells you, from what I understand. So,
How
what I'm
much
gonna-
input is the city, I mean, because they don't know our town, you know?
Well,
we
so,
might have something.
okay, so it's interesting you say that. She presented at the prosperity meeting the other night that I attended. We need her to come chat with us because you will not believe what she's got going on. The city of Keystone is gonna be they are gonna have their own little place on the Clay County website that she has created specifically for Keystone. And it'll be about things we have coming up, all kinds of activities that we have in the city going on, advertising it. So if you click on that, it might say things like, stay at Carrie's place here at the Palmetto Inn. Go to the Momo sports thing going on. She went on and on. So it just triggers, and she will keep it populated. So she said, be sure, let her know about the Mother's Day walking tour, the thing with the 4th grade kids. Any activity we have coming up, she said, let us know, because we're trying to branch this out beyond even to Clay County, So it's really sophisticated what she's got going on, and it's really pretty exciting, I think, for our town. But the only way to have her really, for you all to be fully vested on what she can do or not do, is to have her come chat with us.
Yeah.
As a speaker.
No, that'd be great.
Because she did a great presentation the other night that I watched. It was really interactive and very exciting to watch.
She did a presentation for the Clay County Preservation Board as well, which meets tomorrow maybe? Oh dear. And so she's amazing, and she comes to a lot of those meetings. And there is never a meeting that goes by, I'm representing District 4, that I do not bring up Keystone Heights and what we have going on. So it's really important that the Clay County sees us, because we're down here in the little corner, and all the attention really seems to go to Green Cove Springs and Fleming Island, Orange Park, Middleburg. They get the attention and they get the dollars, but things are changing. And so there's a lot of light being shined on Keystone and all of what we have.
I forwarded her the fabulous flyer that Christina did for the Mother's Day event.
Great.
So, yeah. Okay, so that kind of covers item D. So item C is decision on future projects, and I think we've talked about this, that it's going to have to wait until the fall, but we can kind of, put a pencil in the calendar. Keystone Heights Historic Homes Meet and Greet, a Christmas tour of homes to associate with the Christmas parade day, and then also hosting the heritage commissions from the local areas, cities and towns. And then, of course, prepping for the centennial in 2025, which actually will kick off in late 2024, which it's 2023. So, we kind of need to start thinking about that now. Were there any other suggestions?
Nope, I know the phone app.
Your phone app is going to be Clay County Tourism, it sounds like, which
Yeah.
would be fabulous because they would pay for it. And,
Well, I'm gonna forward y'all a link to this one so you can see
Oh,
what one is
that's
supposed to do.
Okay.
So we can kind of gauge what we expect from them.
Okay.
Okay.
Miss Christina, when is the budget workshop for the next fiscal year for the
I
CRA?
do not believe we have a date set yet.
Okay.
I can, as soon as I find out, I'll let you know.
Okay, perfect, because that's where we'll present, our ideas and our budget and whatnot. So this year's budget was it 3? 4? So I'm thinking, with what we have planned, we'll probably ask for an increase.
Yeah, so maybe 5,000.
I think
Nice
that's
round
fair.
number.
Yep.
And the way I did that is I had an estimate of what we projected for each project we did last year, and put that into the numbers just so they had something to look at, to guide it by. So just so we're not just throwing money at them.
Right.
So what you want to do is just kind of look at what we spent, because we already know that on this project. And the wreaths obviously cost more, but we won't have that cost this year, right? So just maybe kind of the add-on of what the meet and greet will cost, because we did not do that for this year's money.
But we will have to, kind of reinforce the brief, because some of them will be lost, some of them will, no one will know they received them, that kind of thing.
It just won't
and
be $1,000.
It won't be,
Yeah.
right.
And some people didn't, wanted one,
Right, maybe
so
add-
we're
maybe
add a few
add.
more,
Right.
so.
But that's how I did it, just to give them an eye, put their eyes on it, an estimate of what I thought things would cost based on what we wanted to do.
Mhm.
Right.
And that's kind of how the money got approved.
Okay.
So it just gives them a good insight.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
All right, and then we discussed our next meeting is May 9th at 10 a.m. here at City Hall. We think that's good to go for the room, Miss Christina? Okay, great. And I think that's it. Anything else for the good of the order? Okay, thank you guys for being patient. It was a long meeting, but we will adjourn and we will head down to the pavilion.